What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Birds vs. Boys YouTube page. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for watching. If it's your first time here, we appreciate it. Make sure you head to that homepage and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. If you are a regular or this is your second or third time back, welcome back. We much appreciate you being here and being part of our family. And if it is your first time here and you don't know yet, this podcast and this content family. The name is Birds vs. Boys, but that does not mean we are just a podcast, just a show, just a content area for Birds fans or for Cowboys fans. We cover the entire NFL from top to bottom. We have draft coverage. We do it all. So tell your friends, tell your family that you found this really cool place. It's called Birds vs. Boys, but if you're a Bengals fan, if you're a Chargers fan, you can watch, you can listen, and we will have something just for you. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us anywhere on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We are there. And anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, Birds vs. Boys Pod is there. But today, myself, Kmess, I'm here to talk to you about 2023 and the top 5 players on the Dallas Cowboys who I think are going to have breakout seasons. They could be rookies, they could be second year, they could be veterans on the team. All I am saying is I think 2023, they're going to make an impact on the roster, in games, help this team win, and break out. So I'm going to go from 5 down to 1. It could be players on offense, defense, special teams. It doesn't matter. Players I believe will be on the 53-man active roster after training camp and once the regular season starts. And players I think are going to have a major impact. So number 5 for me, it is the second-year linebacker Damone Clark out of LSU. Everybody remembers they drafted the linebacker with the spinal injury, right? The Cowboys medical staff was the medical staff that found the injury during the draft process, did the surgery. They were comfortable with it. People thought he was going to miss the entire season, maybe even 2 years. Cowboy staff did the surgery. They drafted him. They rehabbed him, and he was able to make an impact on the active roster in games by mid-season, which was just astronomical after having spinal fusion surgery. Now, we saw him on special teams make an impact, and then there were times towards the end of the season where he was thrust into a starting role at middle linebacker when Leighton Vander Esch was out. And we saw the disconnect, right? We saw the run game defensively not play well. Even the pass game, the play calls on defense were not being given out quickly enough, fast enough. And that's because he was a rookie, right? And he didn't get any training camp. He didn't get any mini camp. And he was thrust in halfway through the season. And he kind of looked like his eyes were chasing, right? So people are like, is he going to be a bust? I don't believe so. I believe if he gets a full off season and he's healthy, he gets the training camp, he is going to have an impact this season. The Cowboys need him to have an impact, right? Because they brought back Leighton Vander Esch, and Leighton Vander Esch has been a leader on this defense, and we see what happens when he's not on the field, like I just mentioned. But he also has injury history. We don't think he's going to play all 16 games in a regular season anymore. So we need a player like Damone Clark to step up and to have an impact. Also because Micah Parsons is rushing the passer more, not playing so much linebacker. So we need Damone Clark to have a breakout season. I believe that he will. Number 4 for me, it's their first round pick this season, Mazi Smith. They drafted him in the first round for a reason. People say they may have reached a bit to get him. And you know, I may agree with that a little bit. Nolan Smith was on the board and other players that they could have gotten, but they found their guy. They went after their guy. They knew that they would not have been able to get him in the second round. They have not had a player like him in years. They have not drafted a defensive tackle in the first round in what seems like 55 years, right? So now they have a player like Mazi Smith with the speed that he has, which is very underrated for his size, his strength, his very underrated pass rush skills, because Michigan did not ask him to rush the passer. And the Cowboys believe that there are skills in there that they're going to be able to open up. Aiden Dirty is going to be able to bring out of him, where he will not only just be a two down player and be able to stop the run and plug the middle, but also rush the passer. You add Mozzie Smith to the likes of Jonathan Hankins, Oso Digizua, and hopefully a guy like Neville Gallimore who steps up this year. And all of a sudden, that interior, which has usually been a problem for this defense, becomes a strength. And I think he will have an impact right away because strength does not lie in this league. He has the strength. I mean, just go watch some of his videos in the weight room from Michigan. See his athletic ability, double jumping steps as well. The dude's a freak. He's going to have an opportunity because he was a first round pick to be on the field and be on the field often. And I think he will have an impact. Number 3 for me, somebody that I'm praying steps up this year, and it's Jalen Tolbert. Second year wide receiver out of South Alabama, a player that they really thought was going to have an impact in year 1. But a player that struggled in year 1, didn't really have an impact. The learning curve was very big for him coming out of South Alabama, going to the NFL. I believe that the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff wanted too much out of him, expected too much out of him right away, and it just wasn't there, right? The learning curve was too big. The biggest impact we saw out of him year 1 was what? Going off sides in overtime against the Green Bay Packers, which ultimately lost the game for the Cowboys. But the Cowboys bring in Brandon Cooks. They're saying Jalen Tolbert is having a fantastic offseason. He's learning from Brandon Cooks. He's taking it all in. He looks like the player they expected him to be. So, again, another player that they expect to step up and that the Dallas Cowboys need to step up, right? Because they have CeeDee Lamb, bona fide number 1. They have Brandon Cooks, who they believe is going to make a big impact on this team. And then it's kind of like, okay, we got Michael Gallup coming off the injury. Is he going to bounce back? Jalen Tolbert, Semi Fehoko, they need these guys to step up. They didn't go out and get a DeAndre Hopkins. They're not going to. They're not going to fish for any other big wide receivers. They expect these guys to step up, and they need Jalen Tolbert to step up in his second year, and I believe that he will. Number 2, it's kind of a guy that already stepped up, but I think somebody that I was calling for more heavily to be in the starting role and play him at corner was Izzy, baby. Israel Mukuamu. He was drafted out of South Carolina as a corner. They pushed him to safety. And then last year when they needed cornerback help, I was yelling for it. He's got length. He's got speed. He's got ball skills. Put this dude out there. And they did. And look what he did. I mean, he played phenomenally in the playoffs against Tampa. He played phenomenally every time he had his opportunity. He is great on special teams, but I think where he is going to impact the most is at cornerback. Yes, they brought in Stephon Gilmore. They still have Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. I also did not put on this list because he basically showed us who he was as a rookie, starting in the slot. But you need more than 3 starting corners in this league. You need at least 4, and I think Israel Mukuamu will be that guy. We'll see what Jordan Lewis brings to the table after coming back from the injury. But I think Israel Mukuamu is going to step up even more, have an impact on this defense, and add an element of that size and that length that Dan Quinn loves to play with on defense. Number 1 for me, also on defense, also in his second year, it's pass rusher Sam Williams out of Ole Miss. We saw his impact just in year 1, right? People were not thrilled with this pick. People thought it was too much of we knew that was coming pick, right? They kind of eyed the ball down the field. We knew it was all coming, but there's a reason for that. Dan Quinn went to Ole Miss, worked him out himself, and fell in love with him. And when Dan Quinn finds players like that who he thinks he can mold and is perfect for his system, I say I'm all about it. And we saw what he did when he had his opportunity, the speed coming off the edge. I mean, he led the SEC in sacks one year. So he has the ability. and you put him on the other side of Micah Parsons, and then you can bump DeMarcus Lawrence in the middle, and you have the size of Mozzie Smith in there. This pass rush and this defensive line is going to be a problem. And Sam Williams is only going to get better now that he has another full offseason to work with Aiden Dirty, with Dan Quinn, with DeMarcus Lawrence, with Micah Parsons, to work on his pass rush skills, get even faster, get even bigger, get even stronger. I think he is going to be a dominant problem for offensive lines that they play in 2023. And I think Sam Williams has the chance to have double-digit sacks in 2023, and he will have a major impact and be the biggest breakout player on the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. And that's my list. Those are the 5 guys that I am most looking forward to breaking out for the Dallas Cowboys and having a major impact in 2023. And again, if you have not yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the homepage of Birds vs. Boys. You can get videos like this from me on the Dallas Cowboys, videos on the Philadelphia Eagles, breaking news, breakdowns from my co-host and counterpart, Aiden Powers. You can catch full episodes of our entire podcast of myself and Aiden together talking everything NFL right here on our YouTube channel, as well as daily content on our Twitter page, our Instagram page, as well as our TikTok at Birds vs. Boys Pod. And if you love to listen to podcasts, make sure you're subscribed to anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Google, Spotify, Apple. We are there. Make sure you follow us and make sure you click that alert button so you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Kmess here. Let's go Cowboys.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.